Have you ever wandered into a forest at dusk? The kind where the trees whisper secrets you can't quite make out, and suddenly, you feel eyes on your back. Yeah, that prickly sensation that makes you spin around, heart pounding? Well, welcome back to Factopia, your go-to spot for those mind-bending mysteries that blur the line between history and the downright eerie. And with Halloween creeping closer, we're stepping off the beaten path into the top 10 most haunted forests in America and their dark secrets that still keep seasoned hikers up at night. These aren't just campfire stories. We're talking eyewitness accounts, unsolved vanishings, and legends rooted in real tragedy that'll make you think twice about your next trail run. From ghostly pirates to devilish circles where nothing grows, we'll count them down, uncovering the chills, the history, and the questions no one's answered. If you're the type who loves a good shiver with your facts, like those top 10 lists that unravel history's wild side, smash that like button right now and subscribe with notifications on so you don't miss our daily dive into the unknown. Turn up the volume, dim the lights, and let's venture in. But hey, if things get too spooky, blame the trees. Kicking things off at number 10, Morgan-Monroe State Forest in Indiana. Tucked away in the rolling hills of Bloomington, this 24,000-acre woodland looks like your typical Midwest escape, towering oaks, winding trails, even a fire tower for panoramic views. But dig a little deeper, and it's got a reputation that's anything but peaceful. Back in the 1800s, this area was logging country, brutal work that claimed lives left and right from accidents and illnesses. Then there's the Steppe Cemetery, a forgotten patch of graves from the early 1900s, where locals swear they've heard babies crying at night, echoing from the legend of Baby Lester. Story goes, a young mother named Hester lost her infant son in the woods during a storm. She searched for days, only to hang herself from a tree stump in despair. Hikers today report seeing a woman in white hovering near that very stump, her sobs cutting through the wind like a knife. And it's not just ghosts. Paranormal teams have captured EVPs of children's laughter mixed with growls that sound almost animalistic. Some blame Bigfoot sightings, others satanic rituals from the 70s that allegedly left cursed altars hidden in the underbrush. The dark secret? Dozens of unexplained deaths over the decades, from hunters dropping dead with no cause to campers vanishing without a trace. Officials chalk it up to wildlife or accidents, but locals avoid the deeper trails after dark. Imagine pitching your tent here, only to wake to whispers calling your name. Yeah, I'd pack up too. Sliding into number 9, Dark Entry Forest in Cornwall, Connecticut, better known as Dudleytown, the ghost town that time forgot. This isn't your sprawling national forest. It's a dense, 200-acre thicket of twisted oaks and hemlocks, surrounded by steep ridges that block out most sunlight, giving it that perpetual twilight vibe. Founded in the 1740s by the Dudley family, cursed aristocrats from England, if the legends hold, the settlement boomed with iron forges during the Revolutionary War. But curse or no curse, tragedy struck hard. Epidemics wiped out families, kids vanished into the woods never to return, and men went mad, hanging themselves from branches. By the 1920s, it was abandoned, now off limits, without a permit from the Preservation Society. Hauntings? Oh, plenty. Visitors describe orbs of light dancing between trees like fireflies on steroids, ghostly figures in colonial garb shambling through the mist, and a constant feeling of dread, like the air itself is heavy with sorrow. One dark secret ties back to those missing children. In the 1800s, reports surfaced of ritualistic markings on trees, hinting at occult practices by desperate settlers invoking spirits for protection. Eyewitnesses in the 90s, including a TV crew, captured shadows that moved against the wind and audio of screams that weren't human. Skeptics say it's just overgrowth and suggestion, but the forest's dark entry nickname? It comes from how easy it is to get lost. Compasses spin wildly here, and phones die without reason. If you're feeling brave, hike it, but don't say I didn't warn you about the eyes in the dark. Number 8 takes us up to Randolph Forest in Maine, a rugged 5,000-acre expanse of pine and birch near the coast, dotted with glassy lakes that reflect the fog like mirrors to another world. This place screams getaway. Fishing spots, canoe launches, those green tunnels of foliage that filter sunlight into emerald glows. But Maine's wild heart hides horrors. Settled in the 1700s by hardy fishermen, it saw its share of shipwrecks and isolation-fueled madness. The hauntings ramp up with glowing orbs that hover over the water at midnight, mimicking will-o'-the-wisps, leading folks astray. Shadowy human-like figures dart between trunks, and scary noises, snaps, growls, distant cries, keep even locals away after sunset. One chilling legend: the Lake Ghost, a drowned sailor from an 1800s wreck whose bloated corpse washed up, but whose spirit pulls swimmers under with icy hands. Dark secret? Unsolved disappearances, like the 2015 case of a family of 4 who vanished during a picnic. Search teams found their cooler by the shore, but no tracks leading away. Paranormal investigators point to magnetic anomalies messing with equipment, suggesting underground ley lines or something ancient stirring. Picture this: you're paddling at dawn, and suddenly the water ripples without wind, a face staring up from the depths. Creepy enough to make you swear off Esmores forever. At number 7, Robinson Woods in Illinois, just outside Chicago, a deceptively serene 200-acre park with paved paths, picnic groves, and that classic oak savanna vibe perfect for a family stroll. But step off the trail into the thicker woods, and you're in Native American territory, sacred Potawatomi burial grounds disturbed in the 1800s when white settlers plowed through. The Robinson family bought the land in the early 1900s, building a grand home that burned down mysteriously, taking lives with it. Now, it's whispers and worse. Ghostly lights flickering like distant campfires, scary sounds of drumming that pulse like a heartbeat, and shadows lurking just out of sight. Eyewitnesses, including joggers in the 80s, describe full apparitions, translucent figures in tribal garb or Victorian dresses, vanishing into thin air. The dark secret lies in the graves. Desecrators in the 70s dug up artifacts, unleashing what locals call the unrest. Reports spike and fall, with temperature drops to freezing midsummer and EVPs capturing pleas in unknown languages. The park closes at dusk for a reason. Rangers have quit after hearing footsteps following them home. It's that urban edge, so close to the city, yet worlds away, that makes it hit different. You head out for fresh air, but the woods? They breathe back. Halfway there. Number 6. The Appalachian Trail near Bluff Mountain in Virginia, a stretch of the famous 2,190-mile footpath slicing through misty ridges and rhododendron thickets that feel like stepping into a fairy tale or a nightmare. This section, around the Virginia-North Carolina border, draws thousands of through hikers yearly, but it's the 1930s tragedy that haunts it. 4-year-old Otto Carter, son of a local farmer, wandered off during a family outing and was never found alive. His screams echoed for days, they say, before silence. Now his ghost, a small boy in overalls, appears to lost hikers, pointing the way out or leading them deeper, depending on who you ask. Hauntings include sudden fog banks that swallow trails, disembodied children's laughter, and hoofbeats from phantom horses. Dark secret? The area is riddled with moonshine stills from Prohibition, sites of shootouts and hidden graves, blending human evil with the supernatural. Modern accounts, like a 2020 journal entry gone viral, describe the boy whispering, "Follow me," before vanishing, leaving muddy child-sized prints. Experts blame grief and exhaustion for the sightings, but with compasses failing and animals fleeing, it's hard to dismiss. Imagine miles from help, the trees closing in, and a tiny hand tugging your sleeve. Pure goosebumps. Number 5. The Devil's Tramping Ground in North Carolina, deep in the Uhori National Forest, a barren 40-foot circle amid lush pine and oak, where grass refuses to grow, like the earth itself is scorched. Dating back to Cherokee times, this spot was a sacred site, but settlers in the 1700s spun yarns of the devil pacing here nightly, plotting the world's end. Camp there, and belongings shift overnight. Whispers taunt you. Footsteps circle your tent, and dogs howl in terror, bolting from the ring. Glowing red eyes peer from the shadows, and some wake to find their watches stopped at 3 a.m. The witching hour. The dark secret? Scientific probes in the 50s found the soil sterile. No toxins, no explanation for the perpetual bald patch. Legends tie it to satanic rituals in the 80s, with animal bones unearthed at the edge. Eyewitnesses, including a 2018 camper who filmed orbs circling the site, swear it's alive with malice. Place anything in the circle, and it's flung out by dawn. It's small, unassuming, but that circle? It's said to expand a fraction each year. Stare too long, and you might feel the pull to step inside. Edging closer to the top at number 4, Old House Woods in Virginia, a 50-acre coastal thicket near the Chesapeake Bay, tangled with loblolly pines and live oaks draped in Spanish moss that sways like ghostly veils. Named for a long-gone pirate hideout cabin, this forest was a 1700s smuggling haven. Blackbeard's crew allegedly buried treasure here, only to meet bloody ends from rival gangs. Hauntings? Headless dogs with glowing eyes charge through underbrush. Green orbs bob like lanterns leading to nowhere, and phantom ships materialize on the horizon, sails billowing in dead air. Beachcombers hear cannon fire and screams from drowned sailors. Dark secret, unsolved murders from the rum-running era, bodies dumped in the marshes, their spirits restless. A 1970s investigation caught radio static spelling out coordinates to lost gold, but digs turned up nothing but bones. Locals avoid it at low tide, when the woods weep with eerie moans. Picture fog rolling in, the trees creaking like rigging, and suddenly, a spectral crew marching past. Are, indeed, but way scarier than any movie. Number 3. The Pine Barrens of New Jersey, a massive 1.1 million acre swath of scrub pine, cranberry bogs, and cedar swamps stretching across South Jersey, like the state's forgotten backyard. Wild and whispering. Born from colonial ironworks that poison the soil, it's home to the Jersey Devil. Born in 1735 as the 13th child of Mother Leeds, this kangaroo-hooved, bat-winged beast escaped into the woods, cursing the land with its screeches. Sightings? Hoof prints in sand, blood-curdling cries at night, branches snapping as something huge crashes through. Farmers report livestock torn apart, no predator matches. Dark secret, tied to Lenape legends of a wind spirit, plus industrial horrors like mill explosions claiming hundreds. In 1909, a flap of 100-plus sightings shut down mills and schools. Newspapers went wild. Modern drone footage shows unexplained lights zipping tree level. It's not just the devil. Bigfoot and UFOs crash here too, in the Pineys, isolated clans. Hike it, and the air thickens, paths loop endlessly, until you hear the wings. Runner-up at number 2, Freetown Fall River State Forest in Massachusetts. 5,000 acres of upland forest and ponds in the infamous Bridgewater Triangle, a 200-square-mile paranormal hotspot since Wampanoag times, when spirits guarded against colonial invaders. Dotted with profile rock, a boulder resembling a native chief, it's seen UFOs, Bigfoot, and cults since the 70s, satanic rituals leaving mutilated animals, hazardous waste from 80s dumps poisoning the soil. Hauntings, eerie voices chanting in Algonquian, shadowy figures stalking trails, sudden drops to sub-zero chills. The dark secret? A string of murders, like the 1978 profile rock slaying and 1987 satanic panic cases, with no convictions. Hikers vanish, reappearing days later dazed, clothes torn. Paranormal tours capture orbs and growls. One 2022 video shows a humanoid shape vanishing into fog. It's public land, inviting, but rangers warn of the watchers. Step in, and the trees seem to lean closer, listening. And claiming the top spot, number 1, Morgan-Monroe State Forest in Maryland, the haunted forest of the East Coast. 17,000 acres of cypress swamps and shadowy hardwoods around the eerie Pocomoke River, where the water runs black from tannic acid, like ink from forgotten sins. Settled in the 1600s, it was a hub for lumber barons and escaped slaves via the Underground Railroad, but tragedy defined it. Drownings in the bogs, murders over land disputes, unsolved killings from the Prohibition bootlegging days. Hauntings hit hard. Disembodied voices begging for help, apparitions of drowned loggers wading waist-deep, sudden mists that swallow whole groups. Locals hear slave chains rattling, see slave catchers on phantom horses. Dark secret, the shade of the tree, a massive oak where a 19th century hanging lynching happened. Its stump still oozes blood on anniversaries, per witnesses. Ghost hunters snag EVPs of screams, and in 2024, a drone captured a translucent figure waving from the river. Animals avoid it. Compasses fail. It's the density, the canopy so thick, daylight barely filters, that amplifies the isolation. Venture here, and the swamp pulls at you, whispering promises or threats. Few folks. That's our spine-tingling tour of America's most haunted forests and the shadows they hide. From cursed circles to devilish lairs, these woods remind us nature's got stories darker than any novel. Which one would you dare visit? Or avoid at all costs? Drop your thoughts in the comments, share a personal brush with the eerie, and I might shout you out next time. If this gave you chills, hit like, share with your adventure buddy, and subscribe to Factopia for more top 10s unraveling history's mysteries. Thanks for joining the hunt. Stay safe out there, and remember, in the woods, you're never truly alone. See you tomorrow.